Yep. What's up, guys?
What's up, y'all? Good to be back.
My name's Garrett, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Garrett. My name's Devin. I'm an addict.
Oh. So, welcome to episode 2. In the first episode, we kind of went over what the podcast is, and then we kind of jumped over into different things, just random topics. Like we said before, this is not. We are not what's the wording for it?
I think what you're getting at is we're not necessarily affiliated or representing any specific group. For instance, 12 Steps, AA, NA, HA, any 12-step organization, or the Recovery House, which we happen to be a big part of. Just so we're not laying claim.
Right.
No one's taking our patches away out here,
But that's not saying not saying at the same time that that's not part of our recovery. You heard me on the last time we did this. I'm a big Narcotics Anonymous fan. I personally work the 12 steps. And that kind of brings me to a topic that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So when you go into a meeting, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I go to a meeting,
which is rare. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm always, dude. My life is centered around recovery, bro.
Yeah, right. I've tried to get him go. He says he'll never do 12 steps.
Oh my God!
He swears on the God of his understanding.
That's not the truth.
That's a lie. It's a big lie. He goes, Garrett, you hit a lot of meetings, bro. I'll admit that.
Nowadays, with the two things that I have big in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have sponsees today, not just one, but two.
Damn, I didn't know you had a second one.
Yeah, I just picked up a second one the other. What was it? Saturday or something.
Congrats on that, dude. That's huge.
And I go to these meetings, and I remember back when I was in the recovery process, the very first time, right, back in 2014.
Right.
These old timers talked dirt bad to me. They did not give two fucks about my feelings.
I mean, they didn't speak mean to you or anything, did they?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes.
Nobody was fist fighting or nothing, though.
No. But they definitely, if you baby the addict, you bury the addict.
By the way, the only reason I said that is because I thought you told me about one time that literally.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'll never forget that, dude. Dude stands up in the middle of my meeting and says, if we want to know how to get high, we'll come talk to you. And there was a lot more in between that, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know what I can post on here now.
Yeah, certainly. Good eye.
But I mean, I'm talking for example, it was Mother's Day, and I was I really want to talk to my mom, and this whole time was how about you give your mom a fucking break, you fucking piece of shit. You ran your mom through the ringer. I'm oh my God, you know what I mean? But it was the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Give your mom a fucking break, bro. Sit down. It'll come in time.
Yeah.
So
a lot of old timers think like that. They're the meeting is not a place to talk about your problems.
No.
They're don't bring that on the group. That's what your sponsor's for. I don't mind it when it's not mean-spirited, but if they're fucking hateful about it, I mean, I guess, but go on.
So, the lingo, right? When I talk about the lingo, I'm talking when I go to an NA meeting, I go for I use the NA lingo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clean, recovery,
alcoholic.
No.
Wait, at AA?
NA.
Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah.
Clean, recovery, addict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But if like I go to an AA meeting, like I'm an alcoholic, I'm sober, sobriety, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it, and like, I don't know what I've been telling my sponsees, you know what I'm saying? Like, know the house that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I do Narcotics Anonymous, right? I work a Narcotics Anonymous program.
Right.
It has proven to me that it works,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I have physical evidence that this works. So that's what I do. I work Narcotics Anonymous, right? Like, I don't usually go to any other meeting. And I don't deny where my help comes from, but that's why I go to that Wednesday night meeting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is HA.
Yeah.
Heroin Anonymous.
Like, it broadens the perspective, you know? But, like, so the one thing that I don't do when I'm there, right? I may share in the meeting, but I'm getting better at using the lingo, right? Like, and when they ask at the end of the meeting, like, I am eligible to sponsor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally. Definitely. Like, but at the end of the meeting, they're like, we work out of the big book, the 12 steps out of the big book, right? Like, my thing, like, I don't work out of that, right? So, like, I don't, when they say who is eligible to sponsor, I don't raise my hand.
Oh, you don't in HA then?
No, because I don't work out of the big book.
That's
you know, their traditions follow along the line of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah. And which is cool, by the way, too, because it's like AA is the granddaddy of the whole thing. So, as you know, we'll see the same 12 steps, only with a different word for the ism, in AA and Narcotics Anonymous. But like you said, on the big book versus the NA blue book, the texts are different. I haven't read all of either one of them. I've probably been around hearing most of the big book just from big book studies. And sometimes I'll put it on YouTube, listen to an audio shit of it. But that's interesting because if I was sponsoring someone in NA, I wouldn't know where to fucking start. Like, I don't know that text. It's been 10 years since I've been regular in NA. The game. And I love NA. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's great. I've been opening up more to it and going. I have no reason not to go to NA. Like, I just happen to have lived closer to a HA situation, and but when we went, somebody like our buddy, I'll just say his first name starts with a C and his last name is a color. But bro, he's all about. He'll say, yeah, when I was in the dope game, I tried 3 different 4 types of dope every day. I went 3 or 4 different dope, man, every day. So why can't I go to 3 or 4 places for my recovery every day?
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I just see, I don't know, man. Like, it's fucking, this path isn't easy. You know what I mean?
Correct, sir.
Like, it's not for the faint of heart.
Why are we doing this?
That's the real question.
Why are you doing it now and not before? Like, is this your first time ever trying to get sober?
No.
Second?
No.
I know.
Try 139 different treatment centers.
Boy, I want your insurance. Shit. And that's wild. So it sounds like something kind of clicked. And like my buddy said, my manager over at the other house, he said, I don't know, sometimes when you're done, and I look at it like the gift of desperation. You have to finally when you are ready to consider getting sober, it's best if you're doing it. It doesn't have to be, let me rephrase what it does need to be. It does need to be for your own intent and will. It's going to do better than if the PO tells you got to get sober, because we're motivated. Human beings are motivated by 2 things, reward and punishment. Yeah. So going to prison can be a big motivator, but guess what? There's a fuck ton of people in prison and we all have records of shit. So it doesn't always work. I made a vow due to my life this time to quit running away from something and run towards something. Now, when I was on heroin and not really had any more way to get high, that wasn't what I was thinking. Oh, I will turn over a new leaf today. It was just that I had the gift of desperation because no longer was I getting off from my drug of choice, dude. And it wasn't necessarily my dad or my mom or the PO or the motherfucking, you know, a celebrity or something that, you know, made me do it. It was just, I had that little romantic shit you have with your drug of choice to where, you know, it's your safe place. Even if I got it off without getting in trouble anymore, dude, it was no longer doing it for me. So I had the gift of desperation, and that's what's different. That's why I'm still here.
So, like, one thing that I've noticed, you know, is like this is a grieving process.
I love what I think you're going to get on.
Huge grieving process.
Our old identities, man.
Like, yeah. Like, well, I learned through my 4th and 5th step that, like, when you work your 4th and 5th, you know what I'm saying? You really find out who you are. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about that subject of like who you really are. You know what I mean? Because like so what I found out in my 4th and 5th is like that I had this identity crisis of like I had a persona that I put off, right?
I get that.
Like of a violent person. Like I was violent in active addiction, very violent. You know.
Did that come over a long period of time too? The way that got honed into.
Oh yeah, I mean it started when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
It's like another ego that consumes you and becomes who you are.
Yeah. Well, like I remember being 9 years old and being rocked in the mouth for the first time, and I had never been rocked before.
Right.
And I can remember running home, coming up the gravel driveway to the trailer, and my dad coming. Like my dad was already outside. You know.
Your dad, by the way, is like a military background.
Yeah,
like a man's man.
A man's man for real. Yeah. Like.
Shout out to Shepherdsville, motherfucking Kentucky.
Like my dad is one of those guys where like he a great man, but fucking Christ, dude, he was a dick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was a fucking prick for a long time. You know? But like, so I remember running up the gravel driveway, screaming and crying, dude. And
sorry, that's spam risk. You get rocked in the mouth. You're 9 years old. You never been in fucking hit before.
No,
right?
Never like that.
You didn't like it at the time.
Never like that.
Yeah.
Right. I've been hit a couple times by some kids. You know what I mean? But never like that. You know. I remember running home and my dad was already outside. And he came, you know, just slow walking down the stairs. You know, the little steps.
Right.
You know,
it's like 4 stairs.
Yeah, like 4 little steps, dude. It came up. He said, I said, Dad, and I'm just profusely crying. He said, stop right now. And I looked up at him. He says, all that crying has to stop. You need to talk to me.
So he can understand.
Like you
efficiency wise.
Right. like tell me what's going on. You can cry about it after, right? Type shit. But like,
speak to me now, son.
Speak. You know what I mean? And I said, Dad, I got hit in the mouth really hard. And he said, huh. And I remember he like crouched down, you know, and he was like, did it hurt? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, Garrett, pain is an emotion given to us when we don't like what we feel.
Write that down.
So I interpreted that as a kid that if I learned to love pain, I will never feel pain. So that's
so fucking interesting.
Like I had a very fine line of like this identity crisis, even as a kid, that like if I felt physical pain or if I felt emotional pain, like I was alive.
It fucking got your D hard.
Yeah. Like I mixed pleasure and pain profusely.
What was that again, by the way? Pain is the emotion
that is given to us when we don't like what we feel.
I try to remember that sometimes.
So like
what you said, I'm like, damn.
So
you adapted. You used your own best thinking at the time to adapt what you thought was the fucking magic answer to that.
Yeah, like it was so insane. I want to let you hear this saying real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to Destiny 2 Lightfall Edition for this fucking saying. It is amazing. Hold on.
And don't forget, when we get done with all this, we're going to tie it back into grieving the people that we are.
Yes,
the identity of who the fuck we have to become.
Okay, here it is. Pain is not a hindrance. It is just a reminder that we are still breathing. Huh. I'm a huge Destiny 2 fan, by the way. Love it. But, yeah, I really like that.
Pain's a good thing, because if you're gone, you don't have no pain.
Right.
If you're still here, you got a chance.
Like, and I remember this grieving process, right? I had this like found out my fourth and fifth step that like this identity crisis of mine of like I had to hold up this image, and like when I started working steps, that image was crushed. Now I'm not saying that I can't do the same things as I did back then. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that there's different consequences.
Mm-hmm.
I might still be able to get away with most of the shit that I used to do. Clean.
Yeah.
But the internal consequences are going to be a whole lot worse than the external. Because I can still remember doing violent crimes clean.
That's wild.
Paying halfway house rent.
With hustles and hitting licks and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clean. You know what I mean? Dude, my buddy from Kentucky, Andy S., man, he talks about it all the time, every time I'm there. You know what I'm saying? This was the guy that I was telling you about.
Oh,
that used to pay his halfway house rent with that. You know? And didn't know that it was wrong to do that. I never held down a job before until today. You know?
What's weird, by the way, too, is when you said that when we look at we do our fourth and fifth step, we find out who we really are. That's kind of hitting me hard right now because I'm thinking about it like, damn, I thought when I think about doing the fourth step, I think about we're making a searching and fearless inventory of ourselves, which happens to focus on moral inventory, which happens to focus on resentments, right? So I'm thinking
not just resentments though. Like everybody looks at the resentment part, but the resentment part is it's not a grudge list.
Right.
That's not what a resentment is. If you look at the definition of resentment is a re-feeling.
Okay. And that's why they talk about it could be fears, it can be anxiety.
Well,
but it could be even
good
shit, like reminiscing shit.
Well, when you talk about a re-feeling, right? So like a resentment against somebody, right? Is like every time I think of you, I re-feel this.
Yeah, it's literally
and most of the time it is a negative emotion attached to the resentment. That's what a lot of people indicate that with. But in reality, it doesn't have to be that.
People remember the bad sometimes more than the good, more recent.
Like, dude, a lot of my fourth step was about embarrassing times. I get more embarrassed than what most people think.
A lot of mine were about an ex relationship too, where I felt love at one time, felt attached. I guess what I'm saying is that the reason I mentioned that is because it's like when I'm thinking of going back and kind of going over times that were hard in my life, I don't really think of that as looking back at myself when you said we find out who we are. But in reality, who we are, it's the sum of the fucking deeds that we've really done. And just because we feel like it's out of our character that we started getting through our lives away with drugs, well, guess what? Maybe so. But when you do that for so long, guess what? You've now been on dope and doing fucking, your new life, that style of behavior every day for longer than you've been to fucking a student in school after like 10 years, whatever. So guess what? That is you, Jack. That is me,
Yeah. And it's
gotta accept that shit.
Like, well, you don't even have to accept it in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's just more of a turning over process. Like that's where your 6 and 7 comes in. Like I'm working on my 6th step right now. And it's like being entirely ready to have God remove all those defects of character. That's the 6th step, right? Like, so being dude, like my sponsor tells me all the time, he's like, you're going to hold on to things because you're not going to be willing. You're not going to be willing to let that go. Like one of the things that I've been willing to give up is the multiple women. Like for most people that know me personally, one thing that I love is multi-partners.
You're a proud pineapple card carrier.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm okay with it. Like I was okay with it for so long. Like like this isn't nothing new. Definitely for the people that know me. Like, dude, I would sleep around with 6 different women and expect not to get an STD.
Insanity. And by the way, was that were you doing that as like I love it because I'm just a motherfucking horse, a fuck machine, or was it more like if I throw if I split my soul 6 ways type shit, I don't have to worry about being let down or overcommitted to one thing?
Well, like my thing was, it's like, dude, like
can't break my heart if you ain't got me close.
Well, not just that. That's a big part of it. But not just that. Like I would look at these women and I would be like, look, here's the ordeal. Like let's look at natural human instinct, right? Food, sex, and shelter.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, food, sex, and security, I should say.
Yeah.
Like basic human needs right there. Right? Like to survive, we must have food and water.
Gotta have it.
To survive, we must reproduce. And to survive, we must have some type of survival skill. And in modern day today, right, that's like having a place to go.
Yeah, right. Safety shit or being healthy,
whatever it is, right?
Not being in fear all the fucking time.
Right. So like when I first got clean, probably everybody can relate to this. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to fuck everything that walked.
Absolutely.
Like, regardless of what people say, I would never do that. You're a fucking liar. If you ain't whacking, you're slacking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can fucking come without even a hint of lube, bro.
Right. You know what I mean? Definitely when you first get clean. Because, like, we look for not only that dopamine rush, but we look for that fucking sense of security in somebody else that we haven't found yet.
Right, that warm blanket.
Right. So, like, and how all this ties into, like, the grieving process, right? Because, like, without the use... Like, when I stopped using drugs, I lost my best friend. Like, methamphetamine was, like, my best fucking friend, even though she fucking fucked everybody else, too. You know what I mean? I can
so fucking relate to that, dude. Say that again, dude.
Like, methamphetamine was my best friend, regardless if she was fucking everybody else, too. Knowing that she was.
She was there always.
Always. Huh? Even if she brought nothing but chaos and destruction. Right.
You could go to her when you're celebrating, methamphetamine, fentanyl, heroin, whatever it is, dude. You could go there when you're bored and you're lonely, or you could go there when you're around too many people. You can go there when you just lost the game. You could go there when you won the game to celebrate, dude. It's everywhere. So one thing I've been doing with my sponsees, right? So like every time I get a new sponsee, right, I'm like, let's meet up, the next day. Right. And when we meet up, we read the same things. You know what I'm saying? And I have them write a letter, like a goodbye letter to their addiction or drug of choice, whatever you want to say. Right. Because like this grieving process, bro, like I hear a lot of people, they're like, I need to give up everything, and they quit smoking cigarettes and they go goddamn insane with it. Yeah, right.
When they first get fucking clean and they've been smoking for 20 fucking years, you know what I mean? It's like, bro, take it fucking easy, bro.
Some people say don't make their doctors and shit say don't make a major change
at all.
First year or 2 years or some shit.
At all. Like, dude, I don't make any major decision without running it by my support network.
Dude, that's great advice I've heard. It's fucked up when a doctor's telling you, no, don't quit smoking first. Take care. When a doctor's telling you got problems, dog.
Let's fucking take care of the drugs first, and then we'll work on the smoking next. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. That's just like, dude, if you smoke cigarettes, chew tobacco, fucking, I'm all for it, dude. I vape, I don't even know where my fucking cigarettes are at, but they're fucking somewhere. You know what I mean?
Have you seen that meme on, I think it was going around on Facebook. Well, it's not a meme. It's like a recovery picture. And it's something that our buddy, the dude that we know that stands pretty tall, dude, he posts this picture and it's a fucking basically like a wire man made out like where they put things on his body to make a little like decoration human, but it's like rigs for the arms, like needles for the arms, and then the hands is like different shooters of bottles of beer, and then his like hearts and shit's made out of vapes, and then there's like bags of popcorn and snacks in his body, and then there's like pornography on his legs to make his legs, and then there's like fucking there's like STD medicines down his leg, and it's just talking about like we are what we put in our motherfucking body.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you realize, oh, I got half or a third or 3/4 of all that shit going on, you're like, damn, is that what my soul kind of looks like too?
Right.
But you mentioned the writing grieving process letter though, and that just hits me kind of hard, man, like to your sponsees, because like I really identify it, and I had a weird pride. I kind of merged with the anger that I was so afraid of in my active addiction, in my most scary, lonesome part, that when I had to survive, I merged with this dark side that I let consume me. And that became something I had a chip on my shoulder about, because I was like proud that I could fucking not be shook or scared anymore, and that I was able to meet the fucking devil in my mind and shit like that. But losing that person, like, you know, it's like when you make friends.
Your other half, you know, like, dude, the best way that I can explain this, right? Like, and I'm a fucking anime nerd, right? Like, I fucking love anime, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, in Naruto, right? Like, so Naruto has the 9 tails, right? Which is like the most powerful tailed beast, except for the 10 tails, right? And it's with like the 9 tails chakra is inside of his body, right?
Right.
And it was like after Shippuden at the end of it, right? So Minato, Naruto's dad, mm-hmm. right? So Minato put the 9 tails, only half of the 9 tails chakra inside of Naruto's body. Right? And then Minato kept the rest inside him.
Gotcha.
Right? So, like, at the end of it, fucking, they come together, right? And Naruto has full capability of the light, like the yin and the yang.
Like
right?
Luke Skywalker, kind of.
Right. So, like, and how that identifies with this subject, right, is like the yin is who I am today, right? If you look at yin is the lighter side, right?
Yeah.
And then the yang is the darker side, right? So, like, during my active addiction, like, my yang, right, was this scared persona that I had to put on to survive, right?
Right.
And then when I got clean, right, I only wanted the yin, but I must have equal balance. So I had to accept that I still have yang. Right?
So you're saying, yeah, dude.
So, like, when I came to accept that my yang might have a lot of character defects, but for every character defect, there is an asset.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So, like, when I have these character defects that turn into assets, man, like, so if you look at the yin and yang symbol, there's always a small circle in the dead middle.
Right.
That
it's the opposite side.
No, it's what holds them together. It's the middle.
There's the black and the white one, and then there's the white dot and the black one.
So, like, hold on. I'll show you what I mean.
It's like when you make friends with the voices in your fucking head, but then you get medicine that causes them to go away. You get clean. You're like, fuck, I was friends with those voices. Now they're fucking gone, dude.
So, like, it's like this little... So...
For those of you listening, we're looking at yin and yang images on Google. So he can paint a picture for you for what I don't fucking understand, apparently.
Like,
a lot of cool, like, versions of the yin and yang you see, dude.
Well, like, usually there's like this little fucking... I must be thinking of those. I thought there was like one directly in the middle, but like
oh, okay.
Like, but it's like what holds everything together. You know what I mean?
The polarity.
Right. Like, for every small bit of dark, there's always light. For every small bit of light, there is a large bit of light. There is always a small bit of dark. You know what I mean?
Truth.
It's like we're not all good, but we're not all bad. That's like when I see, dude, I've met evil fucking people in this world, but I've watched those people be good people before. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's a polarity. Like, no decision we can make, bro, is going to have all good consequences. Because guess what? We don't predict the future. That's why we have free will. But what I think the main sin, though, is not so much in what we do. It's not participating. Because if I don't take a road left or right, I can't extrapolate a lesson out of it. For instance, like, everything we do is data on the board for history to learn of maybe what to do and what not to do. So it sucks that the Holocaust happened, but guess what? We know that not to do that shit. What happens when we fucking start, alienating people and all this shit and treating people like second-class citizens? It could lead to hatred, which could lead to bigotry, to genocide. So, I mean, like I say, as long as you can take a chance and go one direction or the other, you can find out where the bit of light is and where the bit of darkness is, Kind of like when you said every character defect, there could be an asset.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do you believe in the word failure?
I don't.
Do you believe that there's such a thing
as failure?
Yeah.
Well, I believe that what you might be going down the road of, I like what I've heard about. Sometimes losses teach us more than wins.
Mm-hmm. If you have a answer for that, please comment below, because that would be fucking dope to hear other people's comments, whether you believe in the word failure or not. I'm going to give my opinion on it. I do not believe in the word failure. I think the only time you could ever fail is if you never do it again. Right? It's like riding a bike. It's like you fall one time and you're just like, fuck this, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, you have failed at even attempting. You know what I mean?
Kind of like just not participating, not even trying that shit, dude.
Like everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, right? What I might not be strong in, you might be strong in, but what you're not strong in, I might be strong in. And when we bring that to the table, next thing you know, we have
wheelhouse of weapons.
Right. Like, little fun fact. You want to hear it? I just thought of this. I was talking to my sponsor about this today. Do you know what the most highly flammable, do you know what liquid is used on a daily basis, but is the most reactive?
Water in Flint, Michigan?
No, just water in general.
Are you serious?
H2O.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I swear to God.
Dude.
You separate hydrogen and oxygen from each other, they will try to come back and become one every single time. When you look at a spacecraft, right? Like when you look at a fucking, like a rocket,
yeah,
right? You know that white smoke that comes out?
Yeah.
That's not smoke, that's vapor.
Basically ingredients of water.
Yeah. That's one side is hydrogen, the other side is oxygen. And what it tries to do is tries to combine to each other, right? So bad that it creates a fucking force.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess you're mixing apart the formula where it's supposed to be H2O, hydrogen, and 2 oxygen. And if you fucking pull that shit apart, it's like a magnet that gets fucked up. I don't know. This is bro science. But just thinking, just fucks the yin and yang and everything. Boom! Parallel universe. Basically, because you go from fucking nothing to fucking shit out here. And now it's the thing, dude. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. I always tell people I wait tables, and I say some corny shit sometimes. But, because as a server, you definitely want people not just getting waters. You want them to be like, let me spend some money on a soda, or a beer. Higher ticket, higher tip, larger tip. But some people will be like, you know what, thanks for offering, but I'll take they'll be like, hey, would you guys like to try any of our flavored teas, ice cold beers, margaritas, lemonades? You know what I'm saying? I'll just take a water. And I go, listen, there's nothing wrong with that, man. We got to have it to survive, but don't forget, it'll kill you too. You can. You can drown, you know what I'm saying? For some reason, those folks aren't tipping as good as I thought they would. But you threaten my wife, fucker. We're at, all right, guys, we're at 35 minutes. What do you want to do?
It's up to you. Doesn't matter, man.
To be continued.
To be continued.
All right, guys. Thanks for being part of this with us as we seek to welcome the new versions of ourselves, that you included, man. What this is. So, like Joe Rogan says, if times ever get too hard, don't trip. Just remember that you're basically an ape that's standing on a fucking spaceship going 18,000 miles an hour. So there's bigger places in this world, and it's good to have you guys.
Yeah.
Good to be your homie, doggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time, folks. So long.